A pointer in C language is defined as variable which is capable to store the address of another variable. The pointers can be declared with the help of asterisk symbol or with the help of star symbol. The main use of pointer is to store the address of another variable instead of storing variable. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on programming in C, and the chapter name here is Pointer. I'm Revati from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my today's session, I'm going to deal with C pointers. That is nothing but how to define pointers in C. Along with that, I'm going to cover declaring a pointer and some example. Along with that, how to use pointers in C, along with that pointers to array, along with that structure pointers in C. These are the topic I'm going to deal in my today's session. So dear student, from the examination point of view, this is very important topic. Now let's see what a C pointer. So pointers means what? Suppose if I consider C program, pointers are nothing but the variables. It is mainly used to store the address of another variable. So a pointer in C language is defined as variable which is capable to store the address of another variable, and the variable may be of type integer, float, character, double, array, or functions, even pointer to pointer. Now, the size of the pointer depends on the architecture. For example, suppose if that is operating system size is 32-bit, then the size of the pointer is 2 byte. Now, this is the example. How can I define pointers in C? So, dear student, what is pointer? Here, pointers are variables, and the type of variable may be integer, float, double, character, array, etc. And it's mainly used to store or hold the address of another variable. Now, I'm going to have the example. First, what I want to do, I want to write the data type and I want to consider the variable. So, what is my variable name here? That is n, and I'm going to assign 10 to n. Now, I'm going to create the pointer, and here int is data type and p is nothing but pointer. To indicate it is pointer, I'm going to write star ptr. So this represents it is nothing but the pointer. And I'm going to store the address of n in my p. So what is p here? That is nothing but the variable, and it's going to hold the address of another variable that is nothing but n. Now, I'm going to have the declaration of pointer. That means, how can I declare a pointer? So, if I consider C program, the pointers can be declared with the help of asterisk symbol or with the help of star symbol, and it's also known as indirect pointer. Indirect pointer that is used to dereference a pointer. Now, I'm going to have the example. See, my data type here is integer and my pointer name here is A, and my data type here is character and my pointer name here is C. So, asterisk C or asterisk A, that is mainly used to represent pointer. Now, this is the example. So, dear student, as I discussed, Pointers are nothing but the variables used to hold the address of other variable. Now, dear student, let me to define the variable that is of type integer and variable name is number, and I'm going to assign the value 50. Now, I'm going to create the pointer of type integer and my pointer name is P, and I'm going to assign number here. Okay, now in my computer, the memory is reserved for pointer as well as number. Okay, for example, here for pointer address say 1000 and number address is say 1050. In 1050, 50 is stored and here it is number. Now, as I discussed, pointers are the variable. So here P is pointer and it's a variable. It holds the address of another variable. So what is my another variable here? It is number, and pointer holds the address of another variable. So I'm going to store the address of another variable number. What's the address of number here? It is 1050. So I'm going to store in my pointer. And if I consider the example here, number is 50 and what's the address of number? That is FF4, and I'm going to store this address in my pointer P. So this is all about pointer. Now, dear student, let me to discuss simple example here. Okay, now I have number and I'm going to assign 50 and my pointer is P, and I'm going to assign the number to P. Now, I want to get the address. Okay, now I want to get the address of P. So here I'm going to get the address of P. So here, what is my format specifier? That is X, and just I'm going to write the P. And when I use P, I'm going to get the address. And there are certain situations I want to get the value of the V. So what value I want to get? That is star P. That means to get the value 50, I'm going to use asterisk P. This is the way I can able to use pointers in my C program. Moving further, I'm going to have pointers to function. That means in function, I can able to use pointer. So we can able to create a pointer pointing to a function. Suppose if I want to point function by using pointer, then that can be done by using C program. So the code of a function always reside in memory, which means the function has some address. So dear student, when I write function code, all the function codes are present in the memory. When codes are present in the memory, then function must have some address. To get the address where the functions are stored, for that I can able to have pointers in my program. So here I have return type. Along with that, I want to specify the pointer name and I want to specify the data type. So this is the syntax of function pointer. First, I'm going to have the return type, then I'm going to have the pointer name, and I'm going to have the type. Now, this is the example. I have return type float, and this is my function pointer, and I'm going to have the argument. Now, float. So, return type float, I have function and I have values. That is, I have variables. Now, what I will do, I'm going to assign this function to pointer. So, this is the way I can able to use pointers to a function. Moving further, I'm going to have pointers to array. So, dear student, I can able to create array of pointers. Now, if we talk about pointer, they are generally used to store the address, that is memory address of the other variable instead of storing the actual value of the variable. So, the main use of pointer is to store the address of another variable instead of storing variable. Now, we can also use the pointers to access whole array. Suppose if I want to access whole array, then I can able to use pointers by using pointer arithmetic. So this is the way I can able to create pointer array. Now, first I want to define the array. Now, I want to define the pointer. Now, I'm going to assign the address of array to pointer. First, what I want to do? I want to define array. Now, I want to define pointer. After defining, what I'm going to do? I'm going to assign the address to the pointer, or I'm going to store the address of the array to pointer. This is the way I can able to use pointers to array. Now I'm going to have structure. So what is structure? Here structure is nothing but the user defined data type. Now I can able to create structure pointers in C. First what I want to do, I want to define the structure. Then I want to create the pointer variable and I want to assign the address of the structure to pointer. So the structure is nothing but the collection of different data types grouped under same name using struct keyword. Anyway, dear student, my next session I'm going to deal with what is structure, how to create structure. But at present, just you remember that we can able to create structure pointers in C. So first what I want to do, I want to create the structure. How can I create? By using struct keyword, and it's also known as user defined data types, and that enables the programmer to store different data types as well as records in the structure. Now the collection of data elements inside the structure is termed as members. So when I have variables in my structure, then it is termed as structure members. For example, think that I have name, age, ID, city, etc. These are nothing but the member, that is structure member. Now, these records cannot be grouped in a single dimensional array. That means I cannot able to group all those details in my single dimensional array. To overcome that, I'm going to have the pointer. Therefore, we can able to store multiple collections of data items. Now, this is the example. I'm going to have to create structure of arrays. So, what I want to do, I want to use structure. So, first I'm going to use the keyword struct and I'm going to create the pointer of type structure. I repeat, I'm going to create the pointer of type structure. So, here, for example, it is student. So, structure name is student. Now, I'm going to create the pointer of type student. Now, see, I'm going to assign the address. I'm going to assign the address of structure variable. So, first what I want to do, I want to use the struct keyword, structure name, and I want to create the pointer. Once I done with the pointer, I just want to assign the address of the structure variable. So, here I have struct, structure name, and my pointer, and I'm going to assign the address of the structure variable. This is the way I can able to create structure pointers in C. Anyway, dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is pointer, what is the need of pointer, how to create array pointer, how to create structure pointer, and how to create function pointers, etc. Anyway, dear student, in my next session, I'm going to deal with user-defined function. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.